heavily favored Chopticon hosting Thomas Stone in round one of the baseball playoffs. Now, the Braves won the SMAC title for the first time in nearly 40 years. Unfortunately, the Braves won't be marching on as Thomas Stone shocks the high school baseball landscape, winning a hard-fought pitching and defensive battle 2-1 over Chopticon.
With the first pick in the Channel 10 draft, Southern Maryland Sports Journal selects, oh, this name's long, bear with me, James McCray, Dallas Cogle, SOMD newspapers.
All right. We get the big contract, right, James?
That's all one name. Of course, we got to talk NFL draft. I mean, what else is there to talk about? Anytime you get a chance to talk NFL football, you got to do it in the draft. There's no bigger stage than that.
That's
so
right.
Let's jump right into it, James. Let's start with you. Give me who had the best. Let's go local teams. Ravens, Redskins. Give me who had the best draft out of those two teams in your opinion.
With a biased opinion, I will say the Redskins clearly. I know we're going to get into draft grades later, but with the Redskins, I give them, as a fan, as a diehard fan, low B, high C. They drafted 8 players. They got some good value picks in the offensive lineman. Morgan Moses from VA, kid from Richmond, where the Redskins have their training camp at now. So that was a good pick. And then we also got a running back in the 6th round. And not to be forgotten, 2 years ago, sixth round, we had Alfred Morris, another running back who's a gem. So I give the Redskins a high B, low C.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go the other side of the coin. Surprise, surprise, right, as the resident Cowboy fan. And by the way, how about those Cowboys showing restraint, not going after the Johnny Manziel sweepstakes as much as I like him. I think the Ravens, a little bit better draft.
I agree.
The only little thing that I'm a bit questioning is they didn't go for a running back higher up in the draft. I thought they might, with all the Ray Rice situation going on, and that's far from resolved.
There were some good ones there, too, in Hyde and Trey Mason. There were some guys there for them.
Some guys that I thought they could nab. I do like what the Ravens did, though. This has always been a franchise prided on defense. And one thing that Cowboy and Redskin fans could say is we kind of go after the offense and hope the defense can somehow keep us hanging around. Yeah. The Ravens kind of flip-flop that. And I know that their offense, certainly during their Super Bowl run a couple years ago, made some huge plays, or they don't get there. But they went after kind of their staple, their franchise defense, taking the Alabama linebacker, Mosley, and then also Jernigan from Florida State, Terrence Brooks from Florida State. One thing about Alabama and Florida State, and if you watch them the last couple of years, they know how to play defense, and their players tend to play out in a good fashion in the NFL. They tend to make impact, put out impact products in the NFL.
Now let's run through the rest of the NFL real quickly. I'll give you my grades for some teams that I thought got definite A's and A pluses. The Rams. Listen, Trey Mason, I mentioned him earlier, the running back from Auburn, an absolute stud. I think he's going to have a long NFL career.
Thank you, Redskins.
Both offensive and defensive line. They took some of the best players in the draft. And, of course, the social impact, but even on the field, the impact of Michael Sam, who's another quality pass rusher for them. Steelers, my sleeper of this draft, UCLA linebacker Jordan Zumwalt. He absolutely, you may remember him, he laid out Virginia Tech quarterback Logan Thomas in that bowl game. He just fits like a Steeler. Also, defensive help all across the board for them. Texans, Clowney's the most disrespected #1 pick of all time. There's no question about it. I think he comes in with a chip on his shoulder. And then the Raiders, Khalil Mack, and then I'm not in love with David Carr, quarterback out of Fresno State, but he gets to sit for a year behind Schaub. I think by the time he gets in there, maybe he'll be ready. Who are some of the teams that jump out to you in terms of an A+ for draft? Dallas, we'll start with you.
Well, I kind of think this draft, I'm not sure I have one of those teams that I think definitely got the A+. I think there are some A+ picks. Now, I'm a little bit different than my man Travis here, your esteemed host of the show. I'm not so sure Jadeveon Clowney, who I was high on more a year ago, was a slam dunk #1 pick. Not because I think he's got the physical specimen. I'm just not sure about up here where he's at. His senior year of South Carolina mystified me. It's as if the media pressure and all that was cast upon him and how he was viewed, he wasn't sure he was down with that. Maybe going to the Texans will kind of ease up the pressure. Now he goes to rookie status, and we'll see how that kind of carries out. Now, the Johnny Manziel, the most talked about player in this draft, going to Cleveland. I thought a great pickup for Cleveland for a variety. I thought that was an A-plus pick. I'm a huge Johnny Manziel fan, although I didn't want my Cowboys to draft him because we still have Tony Romo, who's our franchise quarterback, and the reason that we've been in contention
good luck
the
with
last 3 years.
By the way, Cleveland didn't take any receivers. Did that jump out to you?
Well, it does, especially when
Gordon's out for the year.
Yeah, he's out for the year. I'm not so certain that maybe they knew that was going to happen. Who knows? Maybe the information was slow.
Had an idea coming in
that something was awry, but it wasn't a 4-game suspension at first, right? And then it opened up. I am a little surprised, just like I am. The Ravens didn't go after a running back higher up. I will say this about my Cowboys: love the offensive line pick from Zach Martin. 3 out of the last 4 years, they have nailed, if they nail this pick, offensive lineman. Travis Frederick last year, and 3 years ago, Tyron Smith.
Maybe Jerry Jones is trying to win now. Who are your?
He's always trying to win.
Who gets your high marks, James?
Honestly, I'm glad Dallas mentioned Johnny Manziel. I'm going to go with the Browns for a different reason. For 1,500, as in number of season ticket packages sold in 12 hours after selecting Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
If that's not an A-plus pick, as you said, then I don't know what is. Johnny Manziel, when's the last time the Browns have had excitement around that franchise? It's just been, I can't remember since they came back in 1999.
Yep.
They haven't had a franchise player that can cause that much excitement, cause this much of a stir. They were the first story on ESPN. When's the last time that's happened? I think just for that reason alone, you have to give the Browns an A. They're back relevant again.
Yeah.
For my F grades, I got to tell you, the Colts did not add any weapons for Andrew Luck. That jumped out to me. Now, remember the Trent Richardson trade may have messed that up because they didn't have a number 1. But still, this was a deep draft as far as receiver. And then my other F grades, the whole NFC East, man. I don't know what you're talking about with the Redskins. I thought that was a horrible draft. I thought the Cowboys should have taken Manziel. That was a horrible mistake.
Romo hater alert.
The only one I will give credit to are the G-men. Odell Beckham Jr., I think, could be a star in this league, especially playing alongside Cruz and having that return ability as well. I think is going to help the Giants.
Well, I would say about the Cowboys, you got to show restraint. Again, whether you love or hate Romo, he's the reason they've had a chance to win the division the last 3 years. Their defense, who's been all-time franchise worst the last 2 years, and is basically a 1-15 defense or 3-13 defense like the Redskins know about last year, they certainly aren't the reason why. I do like what we saw. I do agree with you, rather. What we saw out of the Colts. Not sure I get that.
Yep.
But the Trent Richardson deal probably had something to do with that. Yep. I wanted to carry on about the Redskins just a little bit. The Redskins, this was the final year of that trade for RG3, where they unloaded
they
a bunch
gave away
of picks.
the farm for
8 picks, essentially, is what the Rams got, and it ended this draft, and the Redskins get RG3. To me, who's won that deal? Is it the Redskins or is it the Rams? I think after year 1, you go, oh, it's a slam dunk Redskin won the deal. But right now, the Rams have player depth. And I think they've drafted pretty well. Not a lot of splashy names with those 8 players, but certainly they've made something of their draft.
Well, James, who jumps out to you that didn't do well?
Real quick, just to hop on your topic. The Redskins did get extra picks. We actually did business with the Cowboys. We moved back, got an extra pick.
True.
We traded our first pick and got more value picks. So I think that helped. Yep. Again, you have to go with your thinking with the Colts. Who are they going to throw to? T.Y. Hilton, Reggie Wayne's getting kind of older in the tooth. Who knows? I think he battled injuries last year. Who knows if he's going to be healthy? They didn't draft wide receiver depth at all. They didn't draft running back depth at all. What are they going to do? I hope they have a plan as far as free agency goes that we don't know about yet. Because if they don't, who knows where they'll be? And they have to deal with Clowney and Watt in the Houston Texans. So as far as division opponents, so we have to go with the Colts again.
Well, these two are blue chippers. Number 1 picks, no question about it. Thanks for watching Southern Maryland Sports Journal with me, Travis Thomas, Dallas Cogle, James McCray of Southern Maryland Newspapers, exclusively on MetroCast Channel 10.
Changing times brings changing needs. That's why, for your convenience, Booth's Heating and Air have extended their service hours to 10 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, at regular service rates. Through rigorous training classes and courteous business practices, Booth's technicians always go above and beyond to provide you with award-winning customer service that you can trust. Booth's Heating and Air, serving the Southern Maryland area since 1993.